basketball people that were around that for them to fully understand. Because right now, it's the arms race, period. It's the arms
And
race.
so that's what I'm saying, Fred. If you don't have adequate trainers, adequate nutrition, training table, facilities, then I'm gonna be honest with you, this is how I feel. You don't deserve to win as a program. You shouldn't win. You should be watching the Celebration Bowl. You should be at the bottom of the standings in whatever division you are. That's your right. That's what you get what you pay for. You get in uh, you should get what you decide to invest. And if you invest nothing, you should get nothing. And I'm tired. I
But
just hate that our kids are in a situation where they're almost being vilified for taking advantage of the opportunities that they've earned. And I don't think they should. I don't think they should give HBCUs a break. I don't think they should give PWIs a break. I think they should get the most they can get while they can get it.
Hey,
Bruce, Bruce, let me set you up. You went to Grambling State University. One of the leaders all time of producing NFL players. From that experience, based off what he said, Grambling wouldn't be Grambling. But tell me why all those Grambling greats appreciate it, and they didn't have none of that what Rocky talked about, but y'all got more Hall of Famers than LSU.
But with us, it was all about, you know what I'm saying, just being the next to leave your legacy. It was all about trying to, you know what I'm saying, beat the guys that came before. Like when I got there, I kid you not, I looked at all the quarterbacks that came before me. You know, I looked at what they had done, and I wanted to be the best to leave there. So for me, it was just all about beating them, being better than those guys. And those guys were Hall of Famers like Coach Williams. Like I told Coach Williams, I was going to break every record he had. And he didn't believe it. But then why he was my coach, and he see a lot of people don't know is a lot of times Coach Williams took me out when I was getting ready to break his touchdown record. Like Coach Williams had the record for 7 touchdowns in the game. Every time I was getting ready to break his record, he took me out. Like Coach Spears would say, hey, one more, we got the record. And Coach Williams would tell the next quarterback to warm up. You know what I'm saying? But that's the type of kid I was. I wanted to be the best, you know what I'm saying, at a historic place like that. Another thing, we don't have the funding, because guess what? If we had that $20 million that ESPN is giving all the PWIs, then guess what? We would be able to have some of those facilities and things like that. Like when we had BET back in the days, we were excited. You know, we thought we were doing something on BET because we thought that was our channel. You know what I'm saying? When Joe Claire pulled up on your campus, you was like, you know what I'm saying? We big time. We done made it. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have the money that they have. We don't have the facilities. If you just saw our meeting rooms, you'd have been like, how you guys are Grambling winning all these championships, and we was meeting outside in like a storage closet.
Well, that's the problem, Bruce. Bruce, you are, as I've come to understand what Black college football is about, you represent the best of Black college football that they have to offer. Not only as a player, but also as a graduate. Bruce, watch this, Bruce. You have a measured intelligence that nobody has been able to compete with in any level. Yet and still, Bruce, you are not rewarded with what your intelligence should have rewarded you with, which is an opportunity to shape minds, pour in the kids in the conference that you lit up as a player.
Rock, you trouble, Rock. You trouble, Rock.
No.
I agree.
It's time to again.
I agree with
you. Have no real allegiance to any school, so I'm not.
Rock, I agree with you.
I'm looking at this from simply a college football fan, Coach. I'm looking at this. You mean to tell me Vince Young can be the director of ops at the University of Texas, and Grambling can't find a position for Bruce Eugene?
So, Rock, this is, and I think me and you had this talk, Mr. Campbell, we had this talk, and I've had this talk before. And that's the thing that, I kid you not, frustrates me about my school, because I'm like, if I was at the PWI with everything I did, I'll be director of ops, director of recruiting. I'll be in the community affairs. It would be some type of position on campus to utilize, you know what I'm saying, my name, what I've done and everything else to get people there. And I said the same thing about Grambling. I'm like, I don't see how I don't get no position. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. Like community affairs, you know, recruiting, something to utilize what I'm doing. Because again, when you see people like Vince Young do it, you know what I'm saying? You see all the other guys from other PWIs get an opportunity to go back to their schools with jobs and everything else. And it's like,
and let me say this, Bruce. The reason why I mentioned Vince Young, I mentioned him for a very specific reason, and this is the reason why. No, VY is a legend, and he's one of my favorite college players of all time. But let me just say this, Vince. Let me say this about Vince. In a measure of intelligence, Vince scored an 8. You scored what, Brugene?
41. We know Vince ain't smarter than me. We know that.
No. What I'm saying, no, that's not the point I'm talking about. So what I'm simply saying, if one of the most prestigious universities in this country can find a position for Vince to work and thrive and feed his family and be a representative of the institution that he poured into, certainly. What exit is that on I-20, Mr. Campbell?
Exit ain't one. But hold on, let me, okay, because what I don't want to do is bog this down. I'm gonna make this thing, we're gonna move on.
I'm just gonna make that point.
No, and we can have enough, we can bring everybody else. But I'm gonna say this, and Bruce knows this. And there's some politics that go on this, but let me tell you something. You had a governor down there in Louisiana that tried to cut the funding for Grambling. Literally. Yeah. Bobby Jindal literally tried to cut the water. They say cut the water off. He literally tried to cut the water off.
Yeah.
Alcorn is owed damn near $1 billion. FAMU, you give FAMU is owed $1 billion. Jack State is owed probably $700 million. You give me our money, and guess what? Bruce Eugene will have to worry about no politics, but to your point, because they'd have a job for him for $100,000. We wouldn't have to worry about Shadu and them leaving to go to Colorado because Jack State would have damn near $1 billion. And mind you, that's money owed. That ain't money on interest, which would be $2 billion. For Jackson State and Alcorn and FAMU. So I'm not going to let you come in here and say, I understand why Andrew left, but until you address the first thing and foremost of them crackers down in Texas, not giving Fairview their money, not giving Texas Southern, we ain't going to have this conversation because it ain't a fair conversation. It's very easy for you to sit back from the outside and say, oh, well, Grambling, they gave Bruce no Eugene. How about you talk to Bobby Jindal and say why Grambling ain't got their $100 million? How about Southern need to get their $1 billion? When you make that argument first, we can have this conversation there.
Again, what I'm saying is Bruce did it. No, listen to what I'm saying. Bruce did it under the circumstances that he did it in, and there are people that eat and live off the institution, and if anybody should be able to do it, it should be Bruce.
But Rocky, listen,
there are people right now that eat and live off the institution.
Bruce will tell you that we know that's a little bit of politics down there at Grambling, but I'm telling you. And we can, and like Bruce, we're not gonna get in that because I've been to Grambling. I know all that. Bruce is not even in the Hall of Fame of the SWAC, so we already know something going on with that. But Rocky, the bigger point of it is when you make the statement and you're using Bruce. Well, I'm trying to make it bigger. When you got guys at Jackson State, at Southern that's owed $1 billion, North Carolina A&T has been, Tennessee State owed $1 billion. All these things you're talking about, because guess what? Alabama State, I think, is owed damn near $1 billion because they're a land grant school. Or A&M, it might be A&M. I'm sorry, A&M is the land grant school, I believe. Guess what? If you give me $1.9 billion, it wouldn't be a sucker leave Florida. If you gave Jackson State and Alcorn their $1 billion, Mississippi State and Ole Miss wouldn't get nobody. Because you know what? And I'm going to go to Bruce's point, and I'm going to use South Carolina State. There's Clemson right up the road, South Carolina. But you know what? South Carolina State, that little school, producing NFL player after NFL player because you know why? Because those coaches pour into those guys and prepare them for the pros. And I tell you what, to Bruce's point, to Coach Fred, get me to the pros. South Carolina State showed it. Texas had a draft where they didn't even have anybody that last year that they fired that coach before Sarkis. Now, one kid got drafted. My friend, Yolanda Taylor's son, Ford, who played for the Saints, he was on the team. Now, they had $1 million worth of NIL and all that, and not one of those kids got drafted. But listen, we want to talk about it. I want to get to Marshall Faulk because that really talks about more where we're at.
Oh, my God. Let's check.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So listen, guys, we're talking about Marshall Faulk. Southern hired him. One of the things looks like one of their big boosters, Tony Clayton. I think that's his name.
That's his guy. Tony, that's the money man.
The money man. So Marshall Faulk is getting $400,000 and $950,000 for his staff. Coach Fred, I want to talk to you. What would $900,000? What is that staff going to look like, and how's that money going to get distributed?
So he's probably going to bring in his 2 coordinators and probably make them the highest paid in the conference, which should put them in the 140, 150 mark.
So that's 300. That's 300 out the 950 gone.
Right.
And then you're going to try to find a person to possibly handle your special teams. Now he may not be that 150, but he's going to make a nice size as well. And then you want your quarterback guy, if he's not your OC, you want to make sure that he's good, that you got money to lure what you feel is the best guy to come in. But then you got to also understand now you have 11 coaches plus your head spot.
Okay.
But now, Mr. Campbell, now we have general managers. Now we have recruiting coordinators. Now we have all these different positions.
Analysts.
Now I'm wondering, are they asking him or telling him that's got to come out of that 950 or whatever it is as well, which is going to make difficult understanding. So, most importantly, your coordinators, your O-line, and now your quarterback, and then you kind of go from there. So it'll be interesting to see who he brings, if he learned anything from his time at Colorado and watching Colorado. Is he going to bring that as well, that type of mindset, or is he going to try to find people?
It's an NFL guy. He's bringing an NFL guy as a coordinator.
Okay. Well, that kind of tells me a little bit about it. Now, what are you going to bring under you to help you navigate through this space that you've never been in? So that's going to be interesting to see how this all kind of shakes out, because he's got enough to go and get credible guys that can help him navigate this space. But where does he want to go in this space is the question that I would have, Mr. Campbell, as far as how he's going to divvy that up. Is he going to try to have a staff of 30, or is he going to try to have a quality staff of 11 to 15 that he can take care of and make sure they have a decent living for the amount of work that they're going to have to put into that program to get it turned around?
Now, Fred, I want to explain, even though I know the answer, but I want you as a coach. That 950, is that a bucket, or is that per year that they use to replenish? So every year, that's what they have to maintain the staff, or is that a bucket?
So that's his baseline. And when we get to 27,
right,
now we'll see where the funding is. But that's your baseline. So I brought Mr. Campbell in at 80. That's where it is, unless it's just falling off the table, then I may have to deduct, or as usual process happens, usually I'll be able to come back if we've done what we're supposed to do and bump Mr. Campbell up from 80 to 84, 85 or whatever, because now they tend to give you more depending on what you've done.
So this is a yearly amount that he's going to have for staff. That 950,000 is yearly.
Yes.
Now, Bruce, listen. Listen. This is your arch rivals. I'm gonna say this again. Marshall Faulk. We got a lot of other people. This should be your next quarterback coach. He'll come down there. You got to pay him 120 though, because he got to tell them people Grambling why he had to go. So, hey, Bruce Eugene will do it for 120, maybe 110. Bruce, what do you think about the hire of Marshall Faulk and this a large amount, which I heard is a great amount for HBCU staff, or 950,000?
Well, for them, they needed a splash. They've had a couple of down years. Not to say Coach Graves and Coach Dooley are not great coaches, because I know Coach Dooley real well. We talk on the regular, and even Coach Graves, but they wanted the splash. That's the thing now. Let me go get an NFL guy to come take over my program. And, Deshaun Jackson going to Delaware State, doing what he's doing. And Vic going to Norfolk. Prime went to, what I'm saying? But I tell everybody all the time, we were the first. We were the first. We had Doug Williams walking that door after he left Morehouse, and he didn't have what they had, what they working with now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's the thing now. Everybody want an NFL coach to come in, a former NFL player to come in and do it, and they got the guy. The good thing about them, they got a New Orleans guy, which means now he'll know the area.
Right.
He'll know the state. He'll know the talent that's around the state. He has he's close friends with some of the guys I'm close friends with. So I know they're shooting them in the right direction when it comes to, we got players over here, players over here. I even sent them a list of our guys. From Locust Grove to one of my homeboys that he's communicating with on the regular. I sent them, Armand and our whole list over there to check him out. And he likes some of our kids. You know what I'm saying? So he's doing the due diligence. The thing I like is he's not leaving no stone unturned. He's not, they this and they're that. Like anybody that come with him with kids, he's taking the time to look at them and eval them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Which now, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's going to make him, and that's going to put him ahead of a lot of people that don't do that. That don't take their time to eval certain kids, because I'm one of those believers, right? And I tell people, if I ever get in that hot seat to be a head coach or even the coordinator where I'm, helping in recruitment, the first thing I would do if I'm him, everybody that's a former Southern Jaguar that's coaching anywhere around the world, those would be my first phone call. Send me y'all kids y'all have. I'm going to check y'all kids out before I check out anybody other kids. Let me check y'all kids out. You know what I'm saying? Because now you get those Southern Jaguar guys, now I get them involved back in the school. I get them alumni involved back in what's going on. I got them included, which now guess what? Just like I'm excited about what's going on, they're now excited. So now I'll get to check their kids out, and you know how it is. Like if I got a kid, if I'm just saying right now, Mickey Joseph is the coach right now. If Mickey Joseph called me and say, "Hey Bruce, send me all your kids. Send me list of all your kids." In a heartbeat, I'm gonna send you everything from the best I got.
What you have done?
I'm not gonna send you nothing that I know can't play at Grambling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna even disrespect you to that point. But I'm gonna send you guys that I feel can play at Grambling. Now, whether you offer them or not, I can't get mad at it if you don't. But the fact that you took the time to really get my kids, eval them, and take a look at them and everything else, and then give me a response back, that's all I can ask for.
Rocky, what do you think about the hire with the money they're going to spend? Because you came in on this prime train. What do you think?
Well, again, I always believe that that celebrity coaches bring a certain level of energy to a program and a fan base that's valuable. But I think it's only valuable in the short term. There has to be a sustainable program, something done to sustain the program. Like Prime was able to get some infrastructure things done along with becoming the coach at Jackson State. And so I think there's also going to have to be some infrastructure thing done for Southern in the process. It can't be just Marshall getting paid. I think Marshall was also brought here to bring resources to Southern as well. That's what Reggie Flood explained on one of his lives, is that Marshall's not only coming with a wealth of football knowledge, but he's coming with resources. And you got to see those resources materialize in infrastructure upgrades for Southern. At the end of the day, money is cool, but how does Southern, this is football, and you guys know this, there is no guarantee in football. Just because they spend $400,000 on Marshall and $950 on the coaching pool, that doesn't guarantee you wins. It doesn't guarantee you anything. What's going to have to happen is it's going to have to be Southern alumni, Southern fans, the community in Baton Rouge, all pulling in one direction. That's what it's going to take. And if Marshall can get that done, then I think Southern will have a successful, Marshall will have a successful tenure in Southern. But if he can't get everybody on the same page, pulling in one direction,
Right.
It can be very difficult.
Let me tell you something, Rock. One thing about that nation, win, lose, or draw, they showing up. They showing up like them Southern Jaguars they love Southern. You know what I'm saying? So they
impatient though. They impatient.
No, but the thing about it, you got to realize when you a program like a Southern and Grambling that have won championship after championship multiple years and everything else, and you're used to winning, there's no such thing as a rebuild when you go into a school like that. It's we reload. You know what I'm saying? We don't rebuild. So when you get to a down year, they'll give you one down year, but they're not gonna give you 2 and 3, and they're not doing that. One down year.
They gave Terrence Graves one down year. You know, he's walking. Marshall Faulk is walking into a 2-10 program. You are what your record says you are.
Absolutely.
He's walking into a 2-10 program. So what is the expectation for year one for Marshall Faulk? If y'all think y'all going to the Celebration Bowl just because y'all hired Marshall Faulk, y'all are sadly mistaken. This is not the West that Eric Dooley was in. This is not the West that Terrence Graves began coaching in. This is a different West.
What's
There's a new sheriff in the West.
What was Graves' record before this 2-10?
They what 7-5, 8-4, something
like that. Something like that. Yeah,
a whole different show, but Rock, like, what's the different West? Help me out.
That's what I'm saying, because it's still the same teams I used to beat up on in there.
Well, I guess he's talking about Lane Jackson, Coach of the Year, is over there at Prairie View.
Now they've gotten better. Like Prairie View was the doormat when we went back in the day. So they, you know what I'm saying, they've gotten better and everything else. And Rock, I definitely understand you, but I think this, right? When you look at a Terrence Graves demeanor, because what everybody's gonna look at is if I get an NFL coach, then that's gonna come with NFL coaching. That's gonna come with, like you said, resources, because he gonna pull from his NFL resources and things like that. So they're just thinking like we get a Pro Bowl Hall of Fame. We get a Hall of Famer like a Marshall Faulk to come in. That's gonna make him a Hall of Fame coach. Like you say, it don't work like that. It's gonna be about what's gonna make him a great coach is his staff. I want to see the staff that he assembles. Once you see the staff that he assembles, then you can say, okay.
Is he gonna bring somebody in like Dennis Thurman, who once had the #1 defense in the NFL? Is he going to do that?
But I'm saying we got to wait to see, because right now, you know what I'm saying? Like I did hear that his coordinator is going to be an NFL guy. So I'm pretty sure if his offense coordinator is an NFL guy, I'm pretty sure he's going to try to pull.
I would get Dennis Thurman if I was him.
And Dennis Thurman's out there. Is Dennis out there in Hawaii living his best life, making a whole bunch of money? He ain't coming back. Dennis ain't coming back. So, guys, listen, I want to move on because, like I said, I know I got you guys up late, and Bruce, I know you got to go to work. So I want to
look. Hey, Friday we out of school, man.
Oh, okay, all right, well, good. We gonna keep rolling because we got some big things, and we got over 220 people. Man, listen, we appreciate. Hey, man, hit that like button, man. You're not getting any content like this, but people say, "Well, I got this U-Haul truck." Well, this is the reason why, because there are coaches that are moving, coach, and we got one coach that I really want to talk about. That I think is interesting. Is that Larry Scott, the coach at Howard, has resigned, got his U-Haul, and is going to Alabama to be the tight ends coach. Now, I'm going to set this up, and I want to see what your opinion is. I think Larry Scott has gotten tired of the Howard stuff. He's seen Deshaun Jackson, Chennis Berry, and, of course, my boy Trey Oliver and Michael Vick. And he's like, man, I don't think we're going to have a win up here. Let me get out before they get me out.
Go that let me tell you something. That HBCU life is not for the, you know what I'm saying, it's not for the soft at heart now.
Yeah.
It's not for the soft at heart.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Because, you know, again, I don't think he's in the same position as Willie Simmons, where he's like, you know, Larry, if you move, you'll be able to get a PWI job. You know what I'm saying? As a coach. I think this is more about, hey, man, you know what? I'd have done this. I was at Florida. I've been a couple of places. I can get more money and just coach tight ends. So what do you guys think about, you know, and Coach Fred, we'll start with you. What do you think about Larry Scott leaving to be a head coach for Howard to go into Auburn to be a tight ends coach?
Well, you know how I feel about them guys from the A63. And, you know, Larry's from the A63. But I beg to differ with you there, Mr. Campbell, because if you remember, Larry took the U and won some games, and everybody thought he was going to get that job on an interim basis. He did work at South Florida on an interim basis, and, you know, he coached there as well. I think, and again, this is me just thinking for, you know, how Larry's probably viewing it. I think he's viewing it as that, an opportunity to go there and then this next cycle be able to get back to a G5, possibly get himself in position to be mentioned for one of those mid-majors, high mids, because you got to remember now he had a pretty good offense at Tennessee as well.
Yeah.
So I think his thing is to get back in it before he gets erased or people not really remember him for what he did at Miami, what he did at Tennessee, what he did at South Florida. I think that's kind of one of those deals of where he's trying to springboard it the same as Coach Simmons is what I would think or what I would say in that situation.
Now, Bruce, what do you think about that? And just like I say again, Coach Fred knows him personally, knows a lot about him. I don't know how much you know about Coach Scott, but what do you even think about him leaving Howard to go to Auburn to be the tight ends coach?
Well, I know Coach Scott a little bit. We had a conversation about some of my kids when, you know what I'm saying, with the recruit and everything else. You know, like Coach say, he hitting it from that point of view. I'm looking at it as, I'll be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that people he got tired. Like, you get used to things being one way, and then you come here thinking that I'll be able to change and make it like that on my own with my own twist and my own spin and everything else. And then when you get there, and then you realize, man, I can't get this, I can't get this, I can't get that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like you said, all of that falls on your shoulders when you take that job as the head man and you can't get everything, you can't get it done, and you're not winning games. You know what I'm saying? All that falls on your shoulder. And like you said, I can get up out of here, go down to Auburn, you know what I'm saying, work with my guy, you know, and just like you said, relax, coach tight ends, you know, instead of having to worry about the whole team, I got to worry about my 5 or 6 tight ends I'm going to have, you know what I'm saying, I have my room and just go to work like that. You know, it's like I said, that being a head man at an HBCU, that's not for the soft at heart, because you got to do more than just coach. You got to go out there and try to get funding. You got to go out there and try to find donations. You got to go out there and try to find it. You got to try to find everything that your program need, because guess what? If you don't have an athletic director that's fighting for you or trying to bring your vision to life, then this type of situation you're going to be in.
So guys, listen, you've heard 2 names. And again, you know, up there, Virginia Union's coach, Dr. Alvin Parker. You've got Henry Frazier up there, Virginia State. What do you think about those guys moving up there? Or does Howard, because it is Howard, they do have a lot of money, but they do have issues as far as getting kids in because of academics. Do they go on celebrity splash, or do they look through the landscape and say, you know what, let's get Hampton's doing, our rivals got to Bama, let's go get a PWI guy? Or do we get a D2 successful guy and bring him up to Howard? What do you guys think about who could be the coach at Howard?
Whatever they do, they got to do it quick. Again, and just to go back to Coach Scott, I think, you know, if you look at it, the coach that he's going to work for under left South Florida.
My guy Golish.
Coach Scott played at South Florida. He's one of the first classes when they became a program. I think that light switch flipped for him, that if I'm in this position, then I get an opportunity, so to speak, to make that jump from an Auburn back to my alma mater, you know, at South Florida or something like that. So I think that's kind of that switch.
Now, Coach, I will listen. You just gave, I haven't heard this. See, this is what I'm saying. This is HBCU coach's quarterback. What is the relationship with Coach Scott and the new coach at Auburn?
South Florida.
How about that? See, a lot of people not talking about why. See, this is what I'm talking about. When people are like, why did Larry Scott go to Auburn? Well, there you go. Coach Fred just trying to explain to you that connection. So I just want to let people know that, because you hear it on the surface, right? And he's going to Auburn, but you explain it why. You're like, why not Alabama? Why not X school? You know what I'm saying? Why was it Auburn? And I'm glad you explained that, or why it was Auburn.
Yeah, so that's the history. That's how it kind of backtracks. And again, I'm speaking for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that would be my thought, right? Going back to South Florida as the head coach would probably be a dream for him. That's home. That's where he's from. That's his area. He helped start that program. So being in a position to be able to go back and get a position, you know, a head coaching position like that would be a lot easier coming from Auburn than where he was. Same thing for Coach Simmons. a lot easier coming from Duke than, and it's no knock versus
Yeah,
fam,
no, we totally
but
understood.
yeah. So I mean, that's just the way of the world. That's the way the game goes. So I think that. So when we talk about that opening, if they're not particularly comfortable with somebody that's on that staff, uh, they got to move quick. And I got to believe that in Coach Scott moving on, that's kind of been worked out to where, okay, these guys are going to be taken care of regardless of what you do for X amount of time. I got to believe that Coach Scott, Coach Scott's a stand-up guy. He wouldn't leave those other guys high and dry in December, knowing that they may not have a job in January. So I got to believe that's kind of how that's going to go. So I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody on staff be named a stop or bridge gap until next year.
Okay.
If they have somebody on staff that they feel, comfortable with to do that.
So, Bruce, what do you think? Howard go big? They got the big money, bring somebody nice and flashy, or do they go and look at a guy like, I say, the Alvin Parkers and the Henry Frazier's?
So I like what Coach Fred said, the bridge. I think if the bridge was going to be done, I think it would have probably been done before he left. Just because I think they would have made that, when him gone, immediately moved that. Because remember, you got to think about recruiting. You know what I'm saying? Because now, if you don't have somebody in there quick, you know what I'm saying? Now, recruiting starts now. You know what I'm saying? Things going on now, conversations, kids you're trying to get, even portal guys. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get moving, because if not, then you're going to have yourself another down year going into next year and everything else. So, but I think with Howard being Howard, I can see them trying to go and get a Howard guy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like a Ted White, former Howard guy. You know what I'm saying? Has worked in the NFL with Pep Hamilton. Maybe Pep Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? Another Howard guy. You know what I'm saying? So they have guys that, or there that, but now it would be, do those guys want to accept that role? You know what I'm saying? Me, if that was me, yeah, I would definitely go back to my alma mater in a heartbeat, because that's home. You know what I'm saying? That's where the heart is. But you got to see, do they want to accept that challenge? If not, I don't know which direction they go in, because now, then, like you said, it leaves you to select somebody on the staff. And I think if they wanted somebody on the staff, I think that would have, you know what I'm saying, been easy. Kind of like Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? When Lane left, they didn't waste no time. Coach Golden, you the next head coach at Ole Miss. You know what I'm saying? Because now you got to think about recruits. You got to think about the players that are there. Do we want them to leave and everything else? So now, guess what? We lost Lane, but we kept one of the coordinators. So, you know what I'm saying? If you lose Larry, but you know what I'm saying? Do you move up one of the coordinators? You know what I'm saying? To keep everything going and everything else. Now it goes what you say, Fred. You keep a coordinator. Now everybody that's been there with Larry, you know what I'm saying? Your staff is still intact. You know what I'm saying? Now you just got to hire one coach to replace you and your role of what you were doing.
Rocky, what do you think? What do you got? What do you got on the Howard thing? I know you saw it. And,
Coach Fred to the Mecca, baby.
Listen, we trying to get jobs here, baby. Listen, see, y'all don't understand. This is an undercover interview that I'm doing for both of these coaches. So I'm already doing y'all work, HR. They already been drug tested. They already passed the background check. They TSA certified, so they ain't got no felonies. They teach, so they already good. Rocky, what you got?
No, I think this is a situation where I think you got a coach that was kind of raised up as a coach in a very competitive situation, being at Power 5 schools. And he goes to a situation that, now I'm looking from the outside in, and I'm wondering, is Howard serious about football?
Right.
And maybe Coach Larry Scott is wondering, are they serious about football? And if they're not, then I want to be somewhere where they're serious about football. And in the SEC, they're serious about football. So again, these are things that Scotty had someone who represented Howard on his show, Erica.
Yep.
And she says, if we can't do it with the kids that academically are Howard kids, then we don't want it to happen. And if I were to hear that as a head coach, then I would be looking for somewhere else to coach as well. Because I want to do it with football players. Because we're playing football. If you know what I mean, this is not the debate team. This is not the glee club. This is football, and you got to do it with young men who are not only educated but kind of wired a little different. Because football is not an easy game, as you guys know. It's a game that requires courage. It's a game that requires the ability to throw your body into another man. And I'm not saying that may not pass the intelligence test all the time. You got to find a guy that wants to do that maybe more than they want to do other things. And so
Coach,
I'm not sure. Go ahead.
I was once told by a coach, I don't want a bunch of student athletes. I want a bunch of athletic students.
There you go. Well,
Coach,
but you know, though, I think so. And again, and I'm talking about levels, not the level of player, but I'm talking about academic profile.
Yeah.
Notre Dame does it. Stanford does it.
No,
Vanderbilt does it.
No, Stanford don't.
They don't do it, Coach?
No, Stanford don't. And Vanderbilt only started to do it when they got in the NIL game. Other than that, they couldn't do it.
But
and
you got
to go back and look. They went and they kind of lessened some of their requirements to get into Vandy.
Okay. So they changed.
But
they've never taken a
they
junior college
acquiesced
kid.
to the SEC admission
They've never
standards.
taken a junior college kid. Now they've taken a few junior college kids. So,
but what about with Stanford when they were winning 10 games and stuff like that? Even going back to Bill Walsh, they've had some success.
Stanford had Harbaugh. And then once he left, remember we talking about once that name leaves, you know what I'm saying? Like what keeps them there? So now, like with Andrew Luck coming back and being the general manager and everything else, that's gonna be.
But wait a minute, hold on.
Bruce,
I'm gonna set this up. I think you're gonna go where I'm going. So there's not a black coach that could get academic kids. Confirm it is Howard.
Well, Shaw did a good job when after he replaced Harbaugh, he did a good job. But then, like you said, you got to keep it up. You know what I'm saying? It ain't. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do it for a year or two, but then you got to be consistent, and that's where it got hard at. You know what I'm saying? Just being consistent.
I definitely could, but I've got to have a few exceptions here and there as well.
They do.
So, that's what I'm saying. So Stanford don't have those exceptions. Vanderbilt built those
Stanford
exceptions.
does though. Stanford does.
Yeah.
I had two kids. I had two players go play at Stanford: Dalen Wade Perry and Zephron Lester. Right. Zephron was one of those exceptions that. Thank you, Stanford. You know what I'm saying? That on that test score, we were supposed to get this, but we got close enough to it, and you tried and everything else. We'll give you one. You know what I'm saying? But was my kid Zephron Lester a world beater? No, he wasn't. But he was a good football player. He was a consistent football player, but he was never a starter until his last year.
Was he? Did he graduate, Coach, from Stanford?
He graduated from Stanford.
Well, see,
so now that's where you know what I'm saying. Him and Dalen graduated from Stanford.
Well, let me ask you this here, Bruce. Did he win anything, or did he get his coach fired?
Oh, he was on one of the teams that got Shaw fired. You know?
So that's what I'm saying. So let's and again, I'm one of these guys that's a realist, and I understand because I've been in this, and I've told Campbell this, being in the belly of the beast here in Waco, with a school that wanted to win with their guys, Baylor University. They wanted to win with their guys. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they played their guys, they got their ass kicked all over the Big 12. When they were playing with their guys. When they started getting football players, what happened? They started playing for Big 12 championships.
Yeah.
You understand? And so a school has to make that decision. And guess what, Bruce and Coach Fred? You guys are on the coaching side. you know this. Some schools don't want to be known for athletics. They don't want to be known for athletics. They would rather be known as a strong academic school with a pretty good football program. They don't want to be known as a football school. And I think that's where Howard is. And if you're okay with a coach, with that being your signature, a really good school with a okay football program, then take that job. But I think Larry Scott was at Power 5 schools where they were required to win. Yeah. And because of that, he has a certain standard, and that may not mesh with the agenda of the institution.
Guys, hang on. I'm having a little bit of trouble. Be right back. Let me see if I can get myself
let me ask you this, Coach Fred. Does sometimes the football mission conflict with the school's mission?
Most definitely does. You know, again, you hit it on the head. We're paid to coach football, not be mentors. You know, that comes later. That's a free part of what you do. The football part is what you're paid for, and that's what they expect. Now, do they always understand what it takes? No. And we talked about that earlier in the show. Sometimes the administration at certain places may not have people that are connected to athletics, so they don't fully understand what it means in that sense. But yeah, I think sometimes those missions do cross, and that's like with anything else, you know. You can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what I want, and I can say that too. But then once I get to 5, it's like, okay, 5A and then 5B. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute. There was no 5A or 5B. It was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that's just kind of how it goes.
All right. Well, I'm going to, guys, we got one more real quick. And then I'm going to, because I've seen in the chat, I've been trying to hold it off, but I'm going to have to address it. We just found out that Teddy Keaton was fired from Clark, which I thought was really shocking. You know, brought Clark last year to the SIAC championship game. Of course, they lost to Sam Shade and those guys. I think they were 3-9 this year. A little bit of rocky stuff, but I think they had the newcomer of the year at quarterback. Offense still was the offense. What do you guys think about what happened at Clark, and what is Teddy Keaton? Does he go look to try to be offensive coordinator? Does he look there? Because there's a lot of jobs. I'm gonna name some of these jobs. Langston is open. Morehouse is open. Albany State is open. Howard is open. Savannah State's open. Is that something the job that Teddy Keaton could get?
I think it depends on what happened there, because that's a shocker to me, because what you just said, like 2 seasons ago, they go in there, they beat Bethune, take the check, make a run in the playoffs or at the conference deal. I think, you know, if it wasn't on his own doing, which I don't know, if it wasn't on his own doing, then I think it's one of those deals where it's kind of, okay, it's going to be what happened before anybody else kind of gets involved in that, if that makes sense.
Right.
To me. But, you know, I don't know if you know anybody there at Clark Atlanta. That's right down the street from them.
I can't hear him.
From the Dome, huh?
You can't hear Bruce. We can hear. You can't hear him?
I can't hear him.
Well, I can hear Coach Fred. The people in the chat, you guys can hear Coach Fred, right? In the chat, because Coach, I can hear you playing.
Yeah. We can hear Coach Fred. Yeah, we hear Coach Fred.
Bruce. Bruce, you can hear me? We'll let Bruce figure it out. Go ahead, Coach. We'll let Bruce figure that out.
All I was gonna say, Mr. Campbell, is, you know, we drove right past there. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know anybody there or whatever. Get them on the phone, man. Let's talk.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna say this: HBCU Coach's Corner. We can have your offensive. Listen, hey, Coach Eugene said, "Hey, listen, make me the head coach." We got Coach Fred can be the DC. Hey, and Coach Eugene can bring a whole load of talent. And I saw a whole load of talent. So Clark, listen, I got the coaches for you. So, guys, listen, we're going to finish this up, and I'm going to tap dance around this. As you see, there's another U-Haul. There's another big announcement that was made. Coach Quinn Gray and Albany State made an announcement that Quinn Gray is leaving. There's a certain place that has been rumored for where he might go. Florida State. I'm sorry, Florida State. I'm laughing so hard. Florida A&M University. I don't know what's going on because I'm getting people texting, why they ain't made an announcement? What's going on? And he's going to West Georgia. And people talking about he's going to Hampton. I'm sorry, guys. Hampton hired a coach. All I can say is this, and I'll get you guys' opinion on this, and I'm not going to say too much on it. I believe that Coach Quinn Gray will be the next coach at Florida A&M. I think he's a perfect fit. I think, there were other coaches that possibly were considered, but I think they wanted to stay where they were at. And I think, honestly, when you look at it, Quinn Gray, to me, is going to be the next T.C. Taylor. I think he's going to, not talk loud, but carry a big stick. I think he's going to come in there. He's going to be able to put discipline in. He's going to be able to put a very great dynamic offense in. He's got some players I know that can come from Albany State that can play at FAMU, and I think he's going to be a hell of a recruiter. And I also think that he's going to be able to build a great staff. Coach Fred, you actually know Coach Quinn. You coached with him down at Alcorn. Tell us about what you think about Coach Quinn and the fit again. And we talked about this a little bit before, but now since he's gone from Albany, and hey, Coach Quinn, defense, and you need a defensive coordinator, defensive back coach. Here go your guy. He can recruit the JUCOs. He can recruit a lot of Florida. We want them Florida boys. What you got there, Coach?
I think he's a great fit. He's a Florida guy. He's a FAMUan. He's a big FAMUan. He's not just a FAMUan. He's a guy that put a lot of effort into that program as a player. Again, he's from South Florida. I think the fit lines up great. He's shown what he can do the last 2 years at Albany State with an opportunity. He came into Tallahassee and gave you guys a scare. I think that, he put his resume on the field that day as well. Again, when you talk about a perfect fit, I think he's the guy with patience. I don't think the program is as far off as other programs. And I think he comes in and gives an instant jolt to the fan base as well as the kids in that locker room, because he can point to his name in that book. He can point to his pictures, his time on the, the highest of seven hills. He can point to his time there. He knows where y'all are going. He knows all about this. I just think it'll be a great fit just from a personality, a recruiting standpoint, and, just for him, man, I think it'd be a great, great deal. And again, we talked about it earlier. When you're talking about right now, the time crunch you're in, I think he jumps in and he can make it right now, immediately with the talent in Florida, the talent that's from Florida that's not in Florida right now. I think he can bring that all into one, and I think he can put together a great staff that have that same understanding with what it means to bring Florida talent back to Florida.
Now, Bruce, you're a quarterback. Tell us about what you think about your fella. Coach Quinn Gray too. What do you think about potentially him being the next Florida A&M football coach and what he would bring to the table?
I'm coming home. Tell the world. Let me tell you something. The Rattler Nation gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's because they've been waiting for one of their own to come and take the helm of this thing and get it back to their glory days. When you think about Quinn, at FAMU, you think about the ball being spread around. You think about breaking records. You think about not only breaking the receiving records. You think about all these multiple receivers scoring touchdowns. You think about that was a time where it was a great time to be a Rattler. You know what I'm saying? That was when the Rattlers walked around with their chests out, telling them how much they dominated the MEAC. You know what I'm saying? So when you have those type of days, as an alumnus, you know what I'm saying, and a football enthusiast from that area, you're waiting for those days to happen again. And when you watch Quint do it at an Albany State, everybody in FAMU's mind is thinking, why can't he do it here with us? Why can't we get him here? He should be doing that here and over here. Why he doing it there? So now I think it's a great opportunity. I think they're going to give him, if he gets the job, one, I think they're going to give him all the resources and the support he needs to win. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I think is a home run hire for them. And I think it's a home run hire just because he understands and knows what it is to be a FAMU Rattler. He knows what it is to walk those halls and walk in those, stay in those dorms and walk that campus and everything else. So he's going to cherish every moment of this because this is home for him. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to do everything in his power to bring FAMU back to, dominance and everything else. And I'm excited for him. I hope he gets it. So I'll be one of the first ones to tell him congratulations and everything else. And just let me know if you need a quarterback coach, if he don't feel like coaching quarterbacks.
Listen, we've had Coach Quinn Gray on. Coach Quinn Gray. I'm telling you and Coach Eugene, we talking recruiting from Louisiana all the way to Georgia, all the way to New York, Coach Farrell to Florida, and you could just do your thing as a coach. Let Bruce Eugene just get them all SWAC, All-American quarterbacks, and we just put up 40 points on the board. We bring in Coach Fred, JUCOs, Kansas, all that area. He's a Florida boy. He knows how to recruit it. He knows how to walk that walk. Man, I'm just telling you, hey, listen, I know you got your guys down there at Albany State, but listen, he's going to be able to have a big staff. He's going to have a staff that's a little bit bigger than Albany State. So, Coach, I'm trying to tell you, you've seen the level of football. I'm going to say my boy T-Buck. The FBI was on display tonight. The football.
Did I tell you I got the quarterback? Did I tell you I got the quarterback? Mark Parker, who was offensive player of the year. You know what I'm saying? Did I mention that?
Listen, man, I'm teasing my Jackson State folks. Because we got to cut that pipeline off from Atlanta to going down I-20 to Jackson. And we got to cut that off. They got too many people from Atlanta going down to Jackson. We got to send them down south to Tallahassee. We got to send them down south. So we need to
let me say this, guys. This is T.C. Taylor. This is Eddie Robinson Jr., and we know how both of those programs have done under their heroes. I don't see any reason why this one doesn't work out as successful, or be even more successful than Eddie Robinson's. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about a guy who is from that area and who, like Coach Cole always said, he'll know where the bathroom is. He'll know where. And the most important thing, I think, and this is just my observation of FAMU, the most important thing about FAMU is keeping the FAMU supporters unified and connected to the program. And I believe that's what's most important about this job, because unlike some other fan bases, I think FAMU is wanting to give their coach what he needs to win, as long as they are in support of who the man at the helm is. We saw that with Willie, and now I think we'll see it again with Quinn Gray. I don't see how this doesn't work out best for Coach Gray and for FAMU.
Look, Rock, look, Campbell been smiling since we started talking about this. My boy locked in, baby. He locked in. He's like Rattler Nation.
Listen, I don't know who's going to be the next coach of FAMU.
Now, let's think about this. We interviewed Coach Gray, right? He openly admitted the FAMU job is something that he's interested in, right? He didn't in the middle of a playoff run, he didn't split no hairs about it. He said, yes, I definitely would like to have a FAMU job. Now, I don't see Coach Quinn Gray being a man who is a fool. And you don't quit one job unless you already got one lined up. Now, I don't know which one he has lined up. Certainly he has one lined up, and Florida A&M has one open. So you can do with that with what you will, but with all all those things being already out in the atmosphere, I think it's a slam dunk. I don't know anything. Campbell hadn't offered me anything, but at the end of the day, how can he not be the choice at this point? The anticipation of the fan base, I think, warrants that he's given a strong look and strong consideration. He has to me, in my opinion, he has to turn FAMU down at this point for him not to be the coach.
Oh, I agree. And you know what? And I'm going to say this, and guys, I know we hit this. I'm going to shut it down. But there is one coach, and not to say for the FAMU job, but I think for all these jobs that open, that I think all these openings that we named, Terenzo Quinn got to be on this list for some of these open jobs. Coach Quinn is a guy. He is a guy. So I don't know if he wants to start, but you know, hey, maybe he goes down to Albany State, goes right in there, builds that thing up, follow that pipeline, because that's the pipeline now. He leaves Jackson State, go down to Albany State. He knows how to recruit, build a good defense. So I mean, that's my guy. I mean, I just want people to know there are a lot of names out there.
Can I ask Fred a question, though, about along that line? Fred, let me ask you this. Is a associate head coach coordinate position at a Division I HBCU, is that a position that you leave in order to be the head coach at a Division II school?
Most definitely. You know, you want that on your resume. You want to be able to say that, you know, you were the assistant head coach, you were the associate head coach, or whatever. Most definitely you want that on there. You know, and you hope the right people see it. It's a lot easier to go with that next to your name than receiver coach, DB coach, you know, for whatever reason.
Do you leave those positions to go be D2 head coaches? What I'm saying is that a promotion?
Yes, because I look. So let's look at the guy I think that's at, I think the one that's in Indiana. Cincinnati. I think he left and went to like IUPUI, something like that in Pennsylvania, because he was the Alabama wide receiver coach. It's one of the coach was the Alabama wide receiver coach, and he left and took a D2 job. He left and took a D2 job because he wanted to be a head coach and start to, you know, be seen as a head coach. And he went from being a D2 head coach to he went back to being a, you know what I'm saying, coordinator, and then moved it that way. But he definitely made, you know, he talked about it. I can't think of the coach name, but it was definitely talked about it when he talked about it. He was
at James Madison before he came to Indiana.
Yeah.
So
but he said his wife looked at him, and his wife thought he was crazy leaving Alabama, and he was like, he wanted to be a head coach. So he went and took that small D2 job to show people that he can be a head coach and lead, you know what I'm saying, a group of young men and coaches, and they looked at him different.
So that's the thing. So, hey, man, listen, I just want to put that out there. I'm going to say this, guys, and I appreciate you, man. We started at 9. It's 12 midnight, man. We ain't did nothing but talk football, X's and O's, coaching, one of the best breakdowns, man, two of the greatest coaches that are out here that have the ability to help.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.